In your book, at the top of chapter 2, you quote Dwight Eisenhower, plans are useless, but planning is essential. So how can we plan when we don't know what we're going to have to change?
Absolutely. So that quote was when we had a lot of the planning meetings at NASA headquarters for the twin study and other missions. That was one of the slides that always started was that quote, which I always laughed at because we're in the middle of planning missions that will involve a lot of logistics between space and rocketry and telemetry. And that quote is saying that, it's the planning that is key. The plan itself will change because new facts will emerge, new technologies will be deployed, but the act of planning is really what is essential because it gives you that vision towards what you need to eventually reach, and knowing that the details will change and sometimes have to change. And so I think that was always, it was funny when we always started the meetings with that quote. It was Craig Kundra who did that, as a really great scientist at NASA.
Well, you don't know what's going to have to change, but you know the science that's going to have to be in place to make the changes.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's because in the past 20 years, we have had really a complete sea change in what we know in terms of genetics and in terms of astronomy, what we can do. So it means we now have the raw substrates, or the raw materials to understand biology and even create new facets of biology. And we now have, as I talk a lot towards the end of the book, exoplanets, or planets that we could even go to, whereas we had very little of both of those 25, 30 years ago. We had basically zero. And now we have millions of genomes, tens of thousands of genes that are basically snippets of functions that we can mix and match a bit like Legos. And we also have, thousands of planets that have been discovered. Several hundred are probably habitable for humans. So, we had, it's a really extraordinary time. I call it the twin engines of discovery that'll let us launch actually towards some of those stars.